What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash. It's been about a week or so since my last video, and today's video comes via a Patreon request. Shout out to my homie Gullible. He hit me up again and was like, yo, I need the Dr. Manhattan video. Initially, he wanted me to debate somebody using Dr. Manhattan from Rebirth. Couldn't find anyone to debate me with Dr. Manhattan, just no matchups they were willing to take. It is what it is. But when I was thinking about Dr. Manhattan, I kind of, considered an idea that I believe to be true, and that is that Dr. Manhattan Rebirth is the weirdest flex from DC I've seen in a while. I just think it's absolutely wild. I'm going to give my opinion on why I don't really like Rebirth Manhattan and the idea of him. And if you disagree, you can comment down below. But anyways, breaking down who Dr. Manhattan is, he was a character from the original Warren Ellis Watchmen series, kind of a break off from the normal comic book universes. Warren Ellis actually somewhat ripped off the idea of Dr. Manhattan from Captain Atom, but he was a watered down version. Dr. Jonathan, I believe it's Ostertag, he was working on a lab experiments with neutrons, atoms, all that. Broke down, went wrong, and he was deatomized, reatomized, and became Dr. Manhattan. Dude that walks around with his weenie out and typically did not care. He was pretty apathetic to everything. He had a very hard time after gaining this new identity. He had a hard time relating to other people. He didn't necessarily feel above them, but he didn't feel a part of humanity anymore. A lot of this was due to him. The initial Dr. Manhattan that we knew in the storyline demonstrated the ability to see in the future and the present timeline simultaneously, which really irked him because he didn't really know how to go about living this way, because he wanted to change the future, but he really couldn't, and he didn't really know how to go about living this way because he wanted to change the future, but he really couldn't, and he just saw the timelines, disperse, become a new timeline if he affected it in any way. So he really struggled with how to live life and how to make changes. He had limited reality warping ability. He could change the atmosphere. He could go to Mars and create a small pocket to live on. Tried to take a girl there to live there. But just to show how out of touch he got with humanity, and Watchmen, he dated a girl and then he dated her daughter, and she was underage, and he saw nothing wrong with it. He didn't really understand what was wrong with it. He had just completely lost touch with humanity and didn't really care to regain it, and he tried his best to live in a logical manner. This was shown in the final clash in Watchmen when Rorschach wanted to stop Ozymandias from his plot. But Ozymandias had convinced Dr. Manhattan it was the most logical solution. Dr. Manhattan said, I don't have beef with you, Rorschach, but can't let you interfere because I see this as the most logical outcome. Are you going to stop? And Rorschach's like, dude, I don't stop. Rorschach's a Chad, by the way, one of the coolest characters ever. Rorschach got deatomized for his troubles. But the reason I think it's a weird flex, there's a multitude of reasons. One of them, it's the power level. Dr. Manhattan initially in Watchmen, I've seen some wank form, but that's usually on stupid forums like Comic Vine. Dr. Manhattan, probably continental, multi-continental, it was stated that if he was to try to prevent nuclear warfare, in which every nuclear device was launched simultaneously, he could only stop about 60%. Can't even stop every nuclear weapon. Also, we would see his reality warping on a minor level, probably like city level, depending on how big you want to scale the area of the moon. Mars, he changed. It was either Mars or the moon. It's one of them. But yeah, he wasn't that strong. I'll give him continental, multi-continental, potentially planetary if he goes wild, but I doubt it. But yeah, Watchmen, he was a god compared to everyone else, but that's because everybody else was literally human level, like as human as it gets. And then you get into DC Rebirth, the dude's easily out reversal. Mr. Mixie is absolutely terrified of Dr. Manhattan, pretty much talks about him like he's a god. This is the same guy that was destroying multiverses like it was nothing and literally just for fun. We saw him completely body, zero effort. Matter of fact, it was a hit and run on Mobius in the chair and Owlman. So new god level beings with the chair who can take on characters like Anti-Monitor. Darkseid level essentially got absolutely one-shotted. I believe Dr. Manhattan also took out the White Lantern one shot, like it was nothing. Reverse Flash referred to him as God, with just a brief experience with him. So yeah, he achieved an insane level. He was changing timelines like it was nothing, completely erasing timelines. No one could remember it. So yeah, the power level going from like continental to multi-continental to outerversal, that's an absurd power reach. And you know, the common argument is, oh, well, he's coming into DC, you got to make him stronger. It's like, do you really though? Do you really need him to be a major character? Could you not put him in like a street level situation where he's running into characters like Batman and Nightwing and them, and then he's just like god tier compared to them, but he could get humbled if he runs into someone. Maybe make him like normal Captain Atom level since he's a ripoff, but yeah, like his power level was crazy. Next is like narratively, I didn't really like the idea of him becoming a god in DC. In Watchmen, he really didn't have much to do with everyone else. Wanted to be left alone, wanted to take a girl, go off to Mars, live on his own. Didn't care about humanity anymore, didn't care about society, didn't care about the timeline, all that stuff. He had tried alternate, didn't really work, whatever, he was ready to move on. He just felt like he didn't belong. You go from that to DC where he's playing God, he's manipulating everything, he's creating new timelines. Now, if he all of a sudden obtained a new power, which I wouldn't even see Dr. Manhattan necessarily trying to obtain new powers, I think he would toy around, but then that's it. It never seemed to get too far into extending his abilities when it came to Watchmen, like he wasn't constantly trying to improve. But even if he did, the jumps he made in power level narratively as well as just power level, it didn't make sense. Kind of seemed like they were hoping average fans who read Dr. Manhattan didn't know anything about power scaling, just knew he was pretty much God in Watchmen. We're like, oh, well, it makes sense if he comes to DC and he's God. That's how he was in Watchmen, but it's not the same landscape, not by a long shot. So I don't like him narratively all of a sudden caring about changing everything, all of a sudden caring about running everything, being like a godlike figure, starting trash with everybody. You know, he's about to fight Superman, I think. Doing all this wild stuff. When in Watchmen, it was actually a chore to even get him to get involved because he didn't care. He couldn't bring himself to care. He was just so disconnected from reality and from people. So yeah, when at the end of the day, I look at Dr. Manhattan as a very weird flex for DC. Bad flex, in my opinion. People love Doomsday Clock. They love the story. They love this Dr. Manhattan dynamic with him going around doing hood rat stuff. I just, personally, I don't like it, since Watchmen by Warren Ellis is one of my favorite comic book runs of all time. Warren Ellis is an absolute genius when it comes to writing. Anyways, let me know what you think. If you like Dr. Manhattan, let me know in the comments down below. If you like Watchmen but not Rebirth, let me know. If you like Rebirth but not Watchmen, also let me know. If you like it but you still agree it's kind of a weird flex and it doesn't make that much sense, they kind of reached on it, if you at least agree to that, let me know down below. But yeah, anyways, like, subscribe, comment. Debunk Gauntlet is coming soon. Leave me alone about it. When I get together with the guy moderating it, it will get put out instantly. But yeah, Patreon videos get pushed forward. Again, shout out to Gullible for hitting me up with this and this topic. Anyways, it's been your boy Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.